Christian education is very important. It's a light to the world, but it's not only a light to the world, but everyone that's involved in it benefits from it because we can learn so much more. We have more freedom to learn than people in the public schools do.
How can any public school teach what was going on from about the year 100 to about the late 1800s? Because in Western Europe, the church was the major institution, had complete influence on life. You can't teach it in public school. They're missing half an education.
When developing our curriculum, one of the great benefits that we have is we really have a lot of flexibility as teachers. I can have one textbook that I'm using, but if I have another textbook or another source, I can pull in multiple sources to create the best possible education for the students here.
The best way to teach a worldview is to teach worldviews that are not Christian and balance them, and we have incredible freedom here to talk about that. We can talk about God's sovereignty, and then we can balance that with another kind of view. We can talk about humanism, and we can incorporate communism, all of the different isms. And for the seniors, we actually get into various world religions. We want them to know about them and to know where the fallacies are and to balance that always with the Bible.
After a lot of research, I found the Realidades curriculum, which actually is considered to be one of the best Spanish curriculums out there. It's a new curriculum that integrates video, audio, and text. And all of the tests integrate listening, speaking, cultural knowledge, as well as grammatical knowledge.
Even when you look at the laws of the universe, I also teach biology, and we sit there and we talk about creationism. And we talk about the fact that God created the earth, that all of these things that you see in biology, they work together. Everything is perfection because it's God's world. I can't say that in a public school.
We classify ourselves as a college preparatory school. So the classes that we teach are geared for students that are going to go on to college. Therefore, starting in the 9th grade, in any of the academic disciplines, we start with courses, for example, in literature. We'll start with a genre course. Then we will build on that by giving them a scope and sequence of American literature, then British literature, and then world literature.
But we make a requirement, 4 years, not 3 or 2 as the state says, 4 years of strong math, 4 years of every single type of curricula like science, math. We recommend it for a language, we only require 2. But our students, some of them have had 7 years of Spanish. And they've gone into Spanish-speaking countries, and some of them have gone on and majored in Spanish.
We start Algebra 1 in 8th grade, so that by the time they're seniors, they can take a calculus course for college credit. All of that, again, college preparatory classes. We do the Algebra 1, Algebra 2, Geometry, and then get into the pre-calculus and calculus. The science courses are the same. We have lab courses, and they're all building courses, starting with physical science in 9th grade, biology, then chemistry, and then physics, which is an expansion and an elaboration on the physical science of 9th grade. Again, all college preparatory courses.
I try to integrate Christian thinking into everything that we do, and one of the ways that I try to do that is by trying to set up missions trips that the students can have an opportunity to take part in. The missions trips are to Spanish-speaking areas or Spanish-speaking countries so that they can use their Spanish and also express their Christian faith, serving the Lord in a different location that uses their Spanish. So it's not all about Spanish. Spanish is not all about Spanish. Spanish is about speaking Spanish to be able to communicate to other people, and part of that communication is communicating God's love to them.
As a social studies teacher, this is a really challenging time, but a fun time to be teaching. Everything with the presidential elections, everything going on all over the world, we're really able to look at those events, and I don't have to feel constricted with what I'm saying as far as my beliefs go. I'm really able to say, this is what God says will happen, and we're able to look at events and as a group come to a consensus and say, you know, this is what the Bible says, and this is the truth. What's going on in the world may not line up with that, and we have to be able to recognize that. My goal is to prepare them to leave school and to be able to think for themselves. When they look at a situation or hear something on the news, not just take it at face value, but say, what does the Bible say about this? Or what do I believe? Not what my parents believe, but what do I believe? What have I learned that is going to help me interpret what this is and how it applies to me?
We want to maintain state approval, and that means that all of our teachers have to be certified by the state of Maine and endorsed on the secondary level in a particular discipline.
Our goal is to, from an academic viewpoint, create the strongest, most well-rounded, spiritually and academically sound young men and women possible.
At Greater Portland, we participate in a lot of Maine Principals Association athletics, which I think is a really neat opportunity for our kids. It gets them a great level of competition. We do compete against smaller schools in most of these cases, and some of them are other Christian schools, but a lot of them are also other public schools, and I think it's a great opportunity for our athletes to have the chance. They don't have this opportunity in school every day to be around non-Christians and to be able to kind of be that same kind of light that we've been called to be to the world.
One thing that we really focus on is attitude. We always pray for each other before we begin the game. We often have other teams come over and pray with us after the game, just to thank God for letting us come out to play, to have good travel, and that there weren't any serious injuries. And we really focus on that. When a player falls down from the other team, we encourage our players to help them up. We are competitive, we do want to win, but we want to do it the right way. We want to do it in a godly manner.
I like to have fun with this word because I like to say we have a lot of characters in this school. We certainly do. And we want those characters to develop character. And one way to do that is they're learning to work together as a group, cooperating with each other, realizing that other people have different ideas and other people have different strengths.
We have a lot of different students. They come from different backgrounds, different churches, and I enjoy it because we will be talking about an event in, say, social studies, and we may have a student that is from a Catholic background, and we may have one that is from a Baptist background, and we can pull in all of their experiences and their knowledge and really have a good conversation without getting confrontational, without getting angry or upset over doctrine, but really value what each other believes and use that to gain a broader knowledge of these different groups and how to get along with these other groups.
I think that the teachers really try to back up a feeling of family here. When we see a problem, when we see children not treating each other in a Christ-like manner, I think we try to deal with that because we want them to feel like they have a family here and that they're not just coming here to go to school and to go home, but they're coming here to grow in so many different ways.
As a role model here at Greater Portland Christian School, I really try to set a good example for if I see somebody in need, to go out of my way to help them. You know, if a student doesn't have lunch, then I'm willing to give up part of my lunch, or I'm going to buy them lunch. If they need a ride home, I'm going to try to make sure that they have a way to get home. Whenever I see a need, I try to make sure that that is met, and in kind, I really encourage the students to do the same with each other. If a student is down or depressed or not feeling well, I encourage them to uplift them, to pray for them, to do things for them. We had a student that was out sick for a couple days. My homeroom got a card together, prayed for them, signed the card, sent it home, just to say that, you know, we're thinking of you and we want to do everything that we can to help you.
There's no better way to humble yourself than to do something for someone else. And Christ was our perfect example when he washed the disciples' feet. I like to use that as an example. Culturally, it's kind of interesting too because it was something that was done at that time. And another thing is, you know, when you talk about washing someone's feet, that's not something everybody's like, yay, let's do that. But the idea of Christ doing that for his disciples as an act of service and the students serving each other, I think it builds character because doing something for someone else is so important. And you have to sometimes humble yourself a bit to do that. And humility is a very good thing for the students to have, gives them a very good perspective. We do require Christian service, and so sometimes that might seem, you know, like, oh, you're requiring it of them. But sometimes we have to require it just to learn how to do it. And we hope that after 9th grade, when they finish their Christian service, that they will have learned that it is good to serve other people and will do it of their own volition.